Hey, welcome to another episode of the Comic Drill. I'm your host, Scott. As you can see, Keith is not here today. He's on assignment, which basically means he was too lazy to get up out of bed and come video. So I was like, well, I got a big haul of stuff I've purchased in the last week, so I'm gonna go and do a video. This is our second video, and we appreciate all the views. We got about 70 something views on our first video in basically a week. 5 subscribers, and even had a comment, and we appreciate that, and we hope you guys will continue to watch. And feel free to comment on things you like, things you don't like, things you think we should do. We got a suggestion that we do a video on our prize comics we have in our collection, which we plan on doing that at some point. But again, we just appreciate all the comments and views, and if any suggestions, please let us know. But as far as I know, this is the only YouTube channel that has 2 dentists talking about comics. And stay to the end of this video. We're going to start doing our free dental tip at the end of each episode. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure you can't wait. So just a big haul video today. Nothing complicated. But we'll go and get started. So there's a movie coming out, most of y'all know, in probably a year or so, called The Batman. It's just the new Batman movie. Robert Pattinson from, I guess, Twilight fame is who's going to be the Batman. And the director, I was reading an article the other week, the director of this movie stated he got a lot of inspiration for his script based on a comic book called Batman Ego. And it was a one-shot prestige format book that came out in the early 2000s, drawn by Darwin Cook. And so I read that article. A couple of days later, I was at my local comic shop, and I just happened to be going through the back issue bins. And what do I find but this? $7. This book is currently selling raw in this condition anywhere from $70 to $100. So just goes to show you, if you keep an eye on things, what's supposedly hot, you can find stuff like this in the wild. But yeah, this one's going in my collection. I'm not selling this one. So anyway, Batman Ego, haven't read it yet. Also picked up a second print of Batman Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knight. This is basically the first appearance of the Robin King, which is a new character. It's a Robin from an alternate Earth where Bruce Wayne ends up killing his parents in the alley and becomes the Robin King. It's a bizarre story, but it's actually really good. The first print of this, I think, is selling for around $20, but I picked up a second print at cover price. I think the only difference, the cover's the same. The second print has a red cover, and the first print's, it's either I think it's a black or a green cover. So picked up that. I don't really get what the deal with the second prints are. They seem to, with Venom issues, Thor, the second print comics just in some cases just go crazy. I don't get it, but anyway. So the next set is a bunch of books I bought from eBay, from a seller who had a group of the Gotham adventures. Well, there was a cartoon in the early 90s, the Batman, I'm drawing a blank, what was it called? Batman the Animated Series. And they made several series of comics based off of this show. There was Batman Adventures, Batman and Robin Adventures, Gotham Adventures, and then Batman Adventures. So they did a bunch of them. And these books are becoming harder and harder to find as time goes by. You used to get them in the dollar bin, but you don't find those in the dollar bins anymore. But this guy had a grouping of Batman, the Gotham Adventures, so I picked up these for pretty cheap. And I got, let me show you what I got. I got Batman Gotham Adventures 49 with Clay. Is that Clayface? No, that's Killer Croc. We've got 51, Mr. Freeze. 52, Bane. I'm not a big fan when they redesigned Bane in the animated series with that costume. I'm not a big fan of that redesign. We have 53, Poison Ivy. 54, 55, 56 with the Riddler, 57 Riddler, that might have been a two-parter. The Creeper. We have 59. And then this was actually the last issue of this series, number 60, with the Joker. That's a good cover there. And then the seller also threw in a book I'd never heard of, Year One, Batman Scarecrow. So they threw that in. All right, the next batch of books, there's a store in my area called Mr. K's Used Books, and they sell used books, CDs, comics, have different things. I very rarely go in there, but I just happened to go in there one day. They've got probably about 40 long boxes of stuff. Everything was $1. So I picked these up, and remember, everything was $1. I got some good ones in here. Doomsday Year One. I had all the Year One titles, but I did not have this one. Dan Jurgens did the cover of that. We have a Thor with, I think that's the Wrecker on the cover. Yeah. That's Thor with Juggernaut and Ghost Rider. That's Thor 429. We have Thor 430 with Ghost Rider. I catch a lot of flack with this, but I love Thunderstrike. And everybody tells me it's the poor man's Thor, but this was issue 15, I believe. So I picked that up. This is issue 1 of the Uncanny XMen. I picked this up for $1 because it's the first appearance of a character called Gold Balls. Yes, that's right. That's his name, Gold Balls. So I picked that up for $1. This is a hot book right now. It's Action Comics 689. And the reason it's hot is it basically has something to do with the Zack Snyder Justice League cut that's coming out on, I think, HBO Max. And in his cut of the Justice League movie, he's going to have Superman in his black suit that you saw in the comics. And I think this is the first appearance of the black suit. So this is for some reason selling for $20-25 now, but I picked it up for $1. So can't beat that. This was the last issue, or no, this was not the last issue. This was just an issue of Superman Adventures 46. Yep, 46, based off the Superman animated series that was around about the same time the Batman animated series was. Superman Metropolis, another prestige format book. I've never seen this or read it, but Roy Thomas was the writer, and he's one of my favorite writers. So pick that up. Like I said, all these are $1. Now, I also picked up this series, Secret Warriors 1 through 7. This book did have some heat with it a while back. I don't know if it still does or not, but and mainly because of this character Quake from the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on TV that just ended its 7-year run. And, there's been rumors of them bringing Quake into the MCU movie universe. And this is just, I guess, this is not her first appearance, but this was just a hot book because it had Quake in it, and she brought together this Secret Warriors team. So I picked that up. That was number 1. Number 2. Number 3 with Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, another hot character. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. And number 7. So I picked those up. Those were all from Mr. K's. Now, this next series of books I picked up on one of my local comic shops they have like a online sale every Tuesday nights and it lasts a couple hours. And they're just selling books, trying to, help out with being closed for a while there with COVID. And so I bought a couple books on the sale online. I bought the 3 issues of this series, Batman Night of Vengeance. I actually have had all these 3 already, but there's another rumor that they're going to bring in this character, Thomas Wayne Batman. This series is basically, it's a world where Bruce Wayne and his mother, Bruce Wayne was killed. His dad becomes Batman, and the mom ends up becoming the Joker. It's a crazy story, but the rumor is they may bring Thomas Wayne Batman into the DC Universe movies at some point. So I picked up another copy of these 3. It's a good story if you've never read it, but that's issue 1. Issue 2. Issue 3. So pick those up. The other issue that I picked up from the sale is Icon #1. It was a group of comics it was the Milestone universe that DC Comics tried to, I don't know, it's been several years back. Books all got canceled, but there's recently been news they're going to bring back all these characters, and this was the first appearance of that character, Icon. I didn't read a lot of this when they first came out. I think it was in the 90s. But I think he's kind of like a version of Superman, basically. Not sure, though. So I picked that up. All right, so next we've got some unboxings here. The first unboxing is a book I bought. It's a spec book. A couple weeks ago, they had an event called DC Fandom, where DC talked about what their upcoming movie and TV projects were, and I think they talked about some comics. But the big thing that I took away from this event was the Black Adam movie that's starring The Rock. And he's been associated with this movie for probably 10 years, but it's finally coming out. They didn't show off any video because they haven't started filming yet. But The Rock was talking about it, and they showed some storyboards and stuff that people had drawn. It looks really good. It's going to have the Justice Society of America in it, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, a character called Cyclone, the Atom Smasher. So some big DC characters that I hope they can do something with in this movie. But just the way that The Rock talked about it and the way it looked, I think it's going to be huge. So I picked up Black Adam's, it says second appearance. That's a CGC 8.5. And this was from 1977, April 1977. His first appearance, I mean, it's out of my price range. It's in the thousands and thousands of dollars. So I figure most people are not going to be able to afford the first appearance. So I'm hoping that the second appearance will get hot as we get closer to the movie coming out. And I got this for a pretty good deal. There were some raw copies of this book that were in rough shape with spine ticks and pieces out of it that were selling for $200. So mine's in really good shape. To me, it looks better than an 8.5, but I'm not a professional grader, so I picked that up. And last but not least, I got this big box of stuff from an eBay seller. No key books in this, just stuff that I bought that I remember having years ago that I got rid of, and I picked them back up. So the first group is from the DC's Impact line. The Impact line was in the 90s. It's where DC had purchased the rights to some Archie superhero characters. and they were trying to revitalize them. It was more a kids-focused line, but it had one of my favorite artists, Tom Lyle, drew the Comet, and had some pretty big-name writers, one of them being Mark Waid. But there were several books in this line. This Impact Comics is what they were called. DC Comics owned them, but the line was called Impact Comics. You had the Comet, you had the Black Hood, the Web, the Fly, the Shield, and the Jaguar. So I picked up, let's see what we got here. This was the mini-series. It was kind of like the Impact Line's version of the Justice League called the Crusaders, where it has all the characters. And there were eight issues of that. We got issue 1, issue 2. I actually had 2 issues of that, 2 copies of that for some reason. Issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, issue 6, issue 7, issue 8. Next, we have there's so many books in here. Okay. So, out of all those Impact titles, this was my favorite, the Comet. And like I said, it was mainly I like the artist Tom Lyle, which he unfortunately passed away in November of last year. And I actually had just met him for the first time at the Heroes Convention in Charlotte that they have every year. And I actually got him to do me a sketch, which maybe I'll show in another video, some of my convention sketches. But I got to meet him in June, and then he passed away in November. So we got issue 1. Issue 2. 3. 4. I believe that's the Black Hood on that. Issue 5. 6. 7. 8. Whoops. 9. 10. 11. For some reason, I got 2 copies of 12. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. Final issue of 18. And then the annual. So these are dollar books or less, but I always enjoyed them, so picked them up again. Next, we have a series called Showcase 95, where it basically took it was short stories with different characters in a book. So I got Showcase 95, number 7 with Mongol on the cover. Number 8, continued the Mongol story. 9, we have Lois Lane, Martian Manhunter, and Lobo. 10, From the Pages of Superman, Gangbuster. Agent Liberty. And Supergirl. Next, we have a series that I had never heard of before, and I consider myself a pretty knowledgeable collector, especially on modern stuff, 80s and up. Since I've been, I really got into serious collecting in the 80s. I have stuff from the 60s, 70s, and even 50s, but I guess my expertise is more in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I've never heard of this book. Uncanny Origins. This one features Cyclops, Quicksilver, Archangel, Firelord, the Hulk, the Beast, and my favorite, Mr. Venom. Yeah, so I never heard of those. It looks like it's more of a kid-focused comic. The artwork's it looks kind of an animated style, and they were 99 cents when they came out in 96, so. And last but not least was a series I never knew existed. It's called Dark Devil. And what it is, there was a series of comics it was the MC2, Marvel Comics 2. And it's like a future Marvel universe where Spider-Man has a daughter that's now the Amazing Spider-Girl. They had American Dream, which I think was some relation to Captain America. They had the Juggernaut's son, J2. They had a new Avengers team called Avengers Next. And this is from that line. And I knew this character from the Amazing Spider-Girl comic, but I didn't know he had his own 3-issue series. So I picked that up. So that's number 1, with one of my favorite villains of all time, the Kingpin. Love that guy. Love that guy. Issue 2. And issue 3. So that was all for the haul. That was kind of a big haul, but hope you guys enjoyed seeing that. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. Any suggestions, we'd appreciate it. But I'm going to end this video with a dental tip. That's going to be our new thing. Each video is going to end with a dental tip. My dental tip for today is toothbrushes. There are manual toothbrushes, and there are the automatic toothbrushes like Sonicare or the rotary brushes. I always recommend the Sonicare. There's nothing wrong with the manual toothbrushes. Those are good too. The key with the manual toothbrushes, do not ever use anything but a soft bristle toothbrush. They make medium, they make hard. Those are awful. I don't even know why they make them. They're too hard for your gums. They can irritate your gums. They can actually cause gum recession because the bristles are so hard. And a lot of people would say to me, well, if I use the soft bristles 2 weeks after I've opened the toothbrush, the bristles are sticking out everywhere. Well, that means you're brushing too hard. So you don't have to put a lot of pressure if you're going to use a manual, but never get a medium or a hard bristle. Always a soft. Remember that. That's the video for today. We'll see you on the next video. We got another CGC unboxing. Hopefully I'm going to be a little happier than I was with the last one. And we will catch you guys later. Later.